evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Alterra, headquarters of the Mad Capitalist. I'm your host and games master for the evening, James Robertson. Joining me this evening, with a pocket full of pretty green, Ben playing Pizzazz, the Gnome Wizard.
Hello there.
With green thumbs, Bob plays as Lanwor, the Furbog Druid.
They've always been green.
Green around the gills, it's Neil as Dion, the Half-Orc Ranger.
Hey.
And it ain't easy being green. Yes, it's TR playing as Glack, the Kobold Cleric.
Why, hello.
Previously, the party fought their way through the home and laboratories of Qualish, an archlich of considerable power and knowledge, so that Pizzazz could claim a prize, a tome that would eventually allow him to transform into a lich himself. Only narrowly defeating the ancient creature, they teleported away as the lab exploded, then returned to their lives for a while. Pizzazz reading said tome while the rest of the party trained for whatever adventure lay next on the horizon. However, the mood was tense, as a series of industrial sabotage and Cold War-like conflicts between Biodrone Industrial and the Willowwood conglomerate culminated in a massive explosion at Biodrone Labs, which took a fairly hefty chunk of the surrounding city with it. While the rumours of the conflict run rife, Lanwor, a Furbog Druid of some renown, continues to fight against a tide of darkness emanating from the north of the Willowwood Forest, which has been seemingly growing in strength despite his best efforts, poisoning the land and many of the creatures in it. And that's where we shall pick up today with the start of the fourth epilogue, Lanwor's Wartorn Heart. The four of you are in Willowwood, having, been gathered by the Council of Lands, as they were. And standing beside Lanwor at a position you know rather well, in fact. It's the Green Dragon. I forget the name of the Green Dragon. Does anyone remember the Green Dragon?
Nope.
I can't remember the name of it.
By name.
Oh no.
I want to say Dave.
I should research this. This was the one thing I completely forgot to research because it was pre-stream. But anyway, yes.
Did we actually ever learn his name?
Yes, I'm sure we were told it by Chris.
Yes.
Many a time.
Yeah. Anyway, but standing beside Lanwor, this dragon, in his Noid form, if you like, he can shapeshift into that of a green dragon born. And you're all gathered around his lair. On the edge of Lanwor's Grove, in the central sort of part of Willowwood, the darkness emanating from up here in the northern reaches has encompassed most of this area, out with the barriers and defenses that you've placed down here. You're currently over here.
Mm-hmm.
The Green Dragon turns to you all and says, I've gathered you all together. Lanwor, you know this, but the rest of you perhaps may not be aware. I'm very worried about the darkness it's seeping through the forest. Something evil is north of the borders. I've been north. I could feel the darkness trying to pervade my skin, my mind. The goblins are terrified. I've been keeping them safe as I can. But any of the creatures that are north of our borders that haven't managed to get south in time, I dread to think what could have happened to them, what sort of dark magic might have twisted them. Wyllow, I've tried to plead my case to her. She refuses to see me. she refuses to see anyone. I worry that this corruption, or possibly just the ongoing conflict she has going with Biodrone, might be, well, possibly losing part of herself. I don't need to tell you. When you fight, you lose a part of yourself in the fighting. I'd be much obliged if the four of you could head north and try and find out the cause. I'm aware it's a crack in the wall, the northern wall of the area, but I don't know the exact sort of location. It seems massive. What caused it, I have no idea, but all the darkness seems to be emanating from that point.
When you say darkness, do you mean like, magical darkness, or it's just dark and spooky?
Or the energy is dark.
Oh yeah, or that one.
That is to say, myself and the goblins feel it. It's almost like an evil sort of darkness, not like shade or shadow. Well, shade and shadow, but the trees have been sort of twisted in this shadow. It's like whatever the shadows touch, they corrupt. It's like a corrupting influence rather than darkness itself.
Can Pizzazz do an Arcana check to see if he can feel the magic, essentially?
This would be more trying to be in. Oh, actually, just to sort of feel it in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You take a minute, and your Arcana is mega high anyway. But I'm gonna get you to roll just to see how much knowledge you can feel.
29, but it's not come up on Roll20 because I've not got the extension enabled.
29. You can feel something. It's not quite necrotic magic, or well, it seems to be partly that, but part of it seems to be more of like a mind controlling sort of influence, if you will. And yet another part of it seems to be almost like an aberrant sort of feeling. You can't quite place your finger on it, but it's weird, spelled with a Y. It's some weird magic, and it's not any that you've ever encountered.
Well, I did happen to snag this when we were in Qualish's basement as well, and I will present to him the strange twig I found in the treasure room that I basically pocketed. A mysterious wood fragment that you...
Ah, you found a stick.
Yes.
Oh, you found a stick in the forest. Cool.
No, this seems to be of the same kind of energy. It might give you a better reading on it.
Yeah, I remember you saying. So what would I need to do to do a check on that using the stick?
Some sort of, I imagine it would be nature-based, perhaps.
Can I assist him with the nature sort of... I will filter out the nature parts of it so he can better judge the arcana.
Okay. So the two of you, along with the help of Tearulei, I remembered it. Tearulei the Dragon. Move around this thing, and the Dragonborn figure looks very quizzical. He's not seen anything like this. Pizzazz, roll me a nature check.
Nature.
Lanwor's help cancels out the disadvantage, so it's a flat
Okay.
roll.
Oh, twice it rolled twice.
A 9. You don't know. It definitely has the same sort of darkness emanating from it. And as you sort of like take out magnifying glasses and begin sort of chipping bits off of it and looking at them under your microscopes and your instruments and equipment, you're stumped. It's definitely the same magic, but where this kind of tree came from, or where this kind of wood came from, you don't know. You've never seen a tree like this. It is like it is simultaneously alive and growing, and dead and decaying. Dead and decaying, you
Identify
understand.
help.
Would identify help? It may. I'll let you roll once more.
Okay, I'm going to sit and ritually cast Identify on it. See if I can glean any more info.
Yeah, just
So
a
what
flat roll
roll?
again.
Flat roll on nature?
Yeah, nature again.
Guidance.
Oh, just in time.
Yep. So it's a D4 in it.
Yeah.
It's a D4, yeah.
No.
Oh, no.
Doesn't really help. So 13.
You've spent some time in Willowwood, and Lanwor you have as well. Obviously, you live here, and you've created your grove, and you're familiar with all the trees that you've planted in this plane,
And all
in this
nasty
in
ones
this
that-
plane, and all the nasty ones that used to grow until you sort of weeded them out. Pizzazz, you're not sure where it might have come from, but you're reasonably confident that whatever this is, wherever it came from, it didn't come from Sigil. This particular twig is not from a tree that was in Willowwood but corrupted. It's from another plane.
This has come from an outer plane. Someone has brought this here. I know Wyllow had a key, sigil key. Where was that to again?
That was the Feywild, was it not?
It was to the part of Fantasia, the Alterra version of the legally distinct Alterra version of the Feywild, that led to the forest of the Infinite Forest is what it's called.
So we know that she's got access to Fantasia. Could this have come from there, do you reckon?
Having never gained her trust enough to actually let me go there, I can't say for certain, but it's definitely a possibility. She guarded
Yeah,
that.
it's not somewhere that you've been before, no?
No, she guarded that key pretty well. And
The second
After we
time she
stole-
guarded it well.
Yeah. After we stole it the first time.
yes, she ramped up security on that key.
Actually, was that Pizzazz or was that Tink? I can't remember.
Oh, I think it was
No,
Tink,
you-
and I think it was Peace as well.
Yes, though.
It
Although
was
they're
Bragg.
Yeah, I know Bragg stole it.
Don't blame Bragg.
Oh, we can't blame Bragg.
Actually, I think it was Bragg and Pizzazz.
It was.
Yes.
Another plane, Tearulei says. But that's not. Is that possible? Which plane? Do you know?
I can't tell from without further study which plane it came from.
We don't have time. The influence is corrupting day by day. We've had reports of one or more of the LAN clones going missing. We should, and at this moment, you hear yet another sort of ripping, as if cloth tearing, and you all turn your eyes to the north. You can't quite see the crack in the wall itself, even though it's it's very big, because this much larger sort of area of cavern is blocking it. But you feel a judder through the earth and a sort of deep tremor, explosion almost, and then screams coming from the north. The sound of running footsteps.
That doesn't sound too good.
Who was guarding the north this morning? I call out to some of the other people in this area.
Not it.
Six weregoblins and the yew tree Lanwor.
Lantry?
Lantry, yes. There are so many of them. Forgive me.
They all look the same.
Well,
Well,
The
no,
copy-
they don't. They're made out of different materials.
the copies of me are they're more powerful than the rest. The rest of my allies here. Are the Arcanite, fake Arcanite spiders around either?
I have no idea. They do their best to not be seen. At this point, teleporting into your midst, your Lantry, stepping actually through a large tree nearby, carrying one of the weregoblins, while 5 more of them sort of bring up the rear, charging out of the tree behind him. The tree closes up, but as they step through it, you can see sort of in the distance this vision of just dark, dense forest. And your Lantry approaches you, Lanwor, and says, "In which language would Lantry speak?"
Tree.
Because it's one language you speak.
Probably be Druidic or something. Unless you wanted it to speak common, so I could communicate with other things.
Well, I need to find my languages.
Well, whatever it is, it brings forward this quite clearly very badly injured-looking weregoblin and sets it on the table before you.
I think
We found we don't know what happened. We were patrolling the northern forest like you commanded, and suddenly it's like they were grabbed from behind and something attacked us. It was all I could do to get the goblins to safety back here, but something's coming. Something's coming through the portal. Something more than just dark energy.
Wait, there's a portal?
The crack, yes, we saw it. It opened up. I guess we got too near it. It seemed to react to the presence of life, and it split open like an open wound.
So
And
either it's sentient or someone is watching.
I speak common.
I don't know.
Druidic, Dwarven, Elven, and Giant.
Well, we'll say that this one, as the leader, is speaking common.
One of them.
We don't know what happened. It's nothing I've ever seen. Yeah, the goblins are all shuffling around, looking terrified and wondering what's going to happen to their comrade. But as you look down at it's the body of the goblin, you can see it's breathing, but like very shallowly. It's clearly been attacked. Its chest is like clawed at, nearly ripped open. Its throat is bleeding, but the wound has been staunched by obviously cure wounds or some sort of healing magic. But they look to be in a bad way. There's dark veins creeping up their leg from what looks to be a bite mark. Like a deep, vicious bite mark. And there's not just the one. There are about 3 or 4. Almost like that of a leech. Round mouth. Or a lamprey.
Can I do a nature check to see if I would recognize it? Since I spent some time actually learning like woodland stuff now.
Yes, of course. Roll a nature check. Anyone else doing anything?
Bramla?
26.
Where's Bramelan?
Bramble.
He was patrolling the western woods today.
Get him here. We need some more healing. And
As you command. And he casts tree stride again and begins heading off to where your other grove buddies are.
I also pull out one of the holy waters I bought to help with casting certain spells, and
Interesting.
try and pour it on the wound to see if it'll help.
Don't forget they are like were-vampires as well.
Oh yeah. I know this is going to hurt your other half of you, but this may be necessary to deal with what is infecting you now.
Goes on, holy water. Goblin dies.
The goblin seems to hear this. Seems to be very much in pain, almost semi-conscious, semi-lucid. But you swear you can see it nod, as it seems to be in an incredible amount of pain.
And
Glack, with your nature check, this is no animal this is of a bite of no animal that you've ever seen. It looks in ways lamprey-esque or leech-like in its appearance, but the teeth marks are different. It's the rows of teeth, the way that the wound seems to be almost rotted away, like the moisture has been drawn away from it and has left these necrotic veins. It's nothing you've ever seen. Nothing on Sigil has done this.
Glack, tie this rope round his wound so the rest of this holy water won't get in the rest of his system.
Oh yeah, good luck. Gonna tie him down.
There are about 4 wounds, but this one is the deepest and is the most sort of necrotized. But you tie him down.
Well, no tying down. I'm doing basically tourniquet.
Yeah.
It's basically stop the blood flow to prevent the spread.
Perfect. And you just pour the holy water on the vein.
On that part that's infected.
Yeah. I'm gonna need a medicine check, I would say, for this.
17?
Yeah, you sort of clean the wound with it as best you can, try and swab it away. There's just a slight trace of sort of darkness further up the leg where the holy water hasn't been able to get into the sort of veiny, the dark veins that have spread up the leg, but the bite looks to be clean. The necrotized tissue seems to just slough away, leaving just a clean wounded leg. That does seem to very, very slowly begin to regenerate. Very slowly. You are aware that the goblins are able to regenerate somewhat, but this is decreased even for them. Whatever's happened has stunted this growth. The other were-goblins are sort of pulling on Pizzazz and Dion's sort of clothes and gesturing towards the north. One of them said, we saw something in the woods. Smaller than us. Brownish, yellowish creatures. Big eyes. Dived from the woods and attacked.
It's not another fucking pixie again, is it?
I don't know. They seemed stunted little monsters.
Did they look like him? Points towards Black.
No, smaller, and they only had, well, the one that I saw only had 2 legs, claws, like chickens, but not chickens, not delicious looking like chickens. These things looked disgusting.
So like Black.
It shrugs. The goblin shrugs. Whatever you think, man. But we heard them coming through the portal, chittering. At least 10, maybe more.
Could you understand their language?
I'm assuming they're speaking in common.
They didn't speak. They were chittering and growling. I couldn't understand. But we heard a deeper voice. I couldn't understand that, but it was definitely some sort of language. It was ordering them forward.
So not like any of the beasts of this place.
No. If it was a beast, it was twisted beyond belief.
Okay, Glek.
The best I can describe is it was like a little pig, but with no front trotters, and with claws instead of hooves.
Okay, Glek, release some of the pressure slowly.
If you want.
Sleight of hand check.
Okay.
Yeah. Over the next couple of minutes, you just sort of stabilize this thing. In the meantime, Tearulei moves away from you all and sort of heads through a door, and you can hear a great flapping of wings as he does like a loop towards the northern sort of edge and has flown back. It's been about 10-15 minutes since the explosion itself. Lantry returns with Shrub War?
No, it was Bramelan.
Bramelan. Dude, there's so many names. Come on. It took me 4 weeks before I got Tink and Pizzazz no longer mixed up.
Yeah, because Treelan and Bramelan are the two most powerful ones.
Yes, but anyway, the two of them arrive back.
Bramelan only speaks Druidic.
Yeah, Bramelan conveys through the Druidic language to you, Lanwor.
I'm basically going to hand them off to him and tell him to continue some healing and help him with the regeneration of anything, and stand up and start addressing people and getting some of the rest of the actual tree people up here to start reinforcing the north and helping and things to sort of big orders to get things started moving.
You do so. Roll me a charisma check with advantage because you created a lot of the life here. It's all about sort of keeping control of the situation, though. It's they'll listen to you. You're their leader. It's more how they can get it done. Okay. The high sort of ranking members of your awakened tree army, as it were, begin sort of taking charge, almost like troops leading units of these goblin werebats rather. Begin forming into not quite rank and file, but certainly small units that begin positioning around or begin heading off to take up positions around the edge of the border of the grove. The trees, they're accompanied by a couple of treants each, obviously, because they're, more shock trippy. That's another sort of 10 minutes in which you sort of control that. You have a small map of the area and you just move them into the various places. The goblins all get outfitted with glaives and spears and shields and whatnot. What are the other three of you doing while this is going on? Dion, anything?
I was going to suggest that we should start making our way north.
Mm-hmm.
To see what could possibly have come through.
And Pizzazz and Glack?
We should, I agree with that. We should probably move north.
Yeah, Clack is just waiting for Lan to finish his things, so I'm knitting aggressively behind him, trying to get him to speed up.
Aggressive knitting. I love it.
Like a lot of clicks.
Towards the end of this 10 minutes, Tearulei flies back and lands on the roof, rapidly changing into their dragonborn form and coming down the stairs. I've tried to speak to Wyllow, but there's no answer at her tower. The lights are all off. There's nothing going on there. I think she'll refuse to help. I went north as well. I daren't get much closer. Green dragons are often under the sway, or often easier to sway to darkness than other types of dragons. I didn't dare go further north than the ridge, but I could sense the darkness beyond.
Yeah,
What were we able to see?
Yes, we don't want them breaking that spell we helped with. We put.
No. I'll do my best here. I can get you there. I can get you there quickly if you wish, but I warn you that progressing from here on out, it's going to be incredibly dangerous. This is an unknown force. I've never seen or felt anything like this before.
I'd rather keep you on our side rather than theirs.
Was her servant there at all either? I mean,
no one was answering the door. No one was answering. I called at the windows. It's like I know she's there. She's locked herself in. She's been there for months, but
yes.
There is no answer.
I mean, I could
Yeah,
even
Bright Tree isn't that helpful.
No.
Yes. I mean,
To save your energy, Lanwor, I can send you through the trees using my own abilities. I've been studying, as you suggested.
I will mark this tree here for hopefully I won't have to use a quick return to here, but if we come barreling through here and it's not in a rush, be prepared.
We will. Any last sort of minute preparations any of you wish to do?
Pizzazz will get his mage armor up.
Okay, yeah, that's fair, actually.
How long does Mage Armor last for?
8 hours.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. Okay, I'll
Yeah.
I'll keep stuff until later then.
Okay.
Put away the knitting and climb on the dragon.
Oh no, the dragon has spells. It's gonna cast Tree Stride, or movement via plants, rather, because it's a spellcaster.
Calling it Tree Stride because of fucking critical roll. That's what they keep calling it.
Yeah, they did.
Glack looks visibly disappointed he can't ride a dragon. It's like, fine, we go for a tree. Ooh,
Perhaps-
a tree.
Perhaps the time may come, my small green friend, when we shall need to ride into battle, but not today.
Throw him a wink.
Unfortunately, I can't turn you into a dragon.
Not yet. I have been working on that, though. And Tearulei takes you down to the edge of the trees and begins channeling almost sorceress and druidic magic combined, and seems to just tear a gash in the air with one of their claws and reach through it. At the same time, a same sort of jagged tear appears on the tree in front of you. You all pile in and reappear northwards, north of the grove, pretty much up there by that area. The last sort of call back as you head through this tree and reappear on the other side is, "May the gods be with you. Good luck." The tree closes up behind you.
Well, hopefully we don't have to use that kind of method to get back quick. Because I do not have my staff no more.
Places.
Didn't you buy a new one, or can you get one with King of the Druids written on it?
Unfortunately, I can locate another staff to do this.
You could have replaced it with a slightly less powerful staff, but it wouldn't have the exact same things as before because it was a multi-legendary item.
I've replaced my weapon, but slightly different than before.
As you stand now on the edge of this sort of darkening of the forest, to your backs, it is, while not verdant green of the grove, it certainly feels like vegetation on the downturn. Like a forest that no one has sort of kept up for a couple of decades at least. The leaves are starting to wither. There's very little actual shrubbery underfoot. You don't hear the sounds of any animals either. The one tree that you've stepped through seems to certainly be one of the oldest in this area and is putting up much more of a fight against the darkness than the rest of them. The others seem to be much smaller, thinner, more bedraggled. And as you look ahead of you, it is like a wave of shadow, like a pall has fallen over this sort of area of the forest. You take a step forward and you see almost like black sand the ground has turned to. You lift up your foot and you see just it's granular. It's not like the forest you used to know. And certainly not like the grove that you're used to. You feel as well, Pizzazz, and Lanwor, and those more nature-minded. That sort of cloud, that sort of buzzing cloud of darkness, it's bitter on your tongue, in the air. It's like the air itself is not quite poison, but it's like the stench of decaying plant matter. It's not pleasant as you move forward.
Definitely doesn't feel right. There's something very wrong with this part of the forest.
I'm attributed with death, but this is different. We're accustomed to death.
Unfortunately, I feel like I get too close to that myself as well.
But as you move forward through the forest, you do notice it is like the branch you still have. It is like the samples that you've taken. There is that element of death in the air, but more so. Like it's like the death itself has been corrupted. How do you wish to proceed? Stealthily, or are you? You know the vague directions, so I won't.
Zaz pulls out a big bass drum, a trumpet, vuvuzela.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that already.
Har har har.
Stealthy
Yeah.
would be better.
Yeah, you know the vague direction is north, but the path will sort of twist and turn to get you there. There is a sole path leading northwards. You can veer off the path if you want, but it's up to you how you proceed.
Yes, I agree with your sense of humor there. Yes, stealth may be a better part of this. This is way too unknown, even for me.
Dion, do you want to go first and I'll head up
I
to the
was
trees?
about to say that.
I'll be Overwatch.
Zaz is gonna touch you, Dion, and cast invisibility on you.
Okay, cheers.
Glack, you said you were climbing a tree.
Yeah, I assume there's enough trees that I can jump from tree to tree.
There is. There are, in fact. They're spaced out. A few of the smaller ones have died, but those that remain are sort of almost stooped over, bent double, like kind of like the Whomping Willow, almost in that sort of look to them, as if the trees themselves are hunchbacked and twisted by this darkness. Those that survive. As you touch the nearest one and go to start climbing, however, you find your hand gets stuck against it. I'm going to need a dex save to just sort of wrench it free as you feel the bark begin to almost grow over your fingers.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, it is. You do manage to wrench your hand back, but in the process you take 8 points of acid damage.
What, no splinters?
It's as if the sap itself almost tried to engulf your hand and drag. You felt almost a pulling force into the tree itself, but you managed to wrench yourself free.
Okay, don't touch the trees.
At this point, I'm going to get stealth checks from you all.
Can I do a quick check of where he touched, just to see if I can see anything? Like
taking a scraping of the sap.
Well,
roll
not really.
me a perception check, Lanwor.
Yeah, I want to see if I notice anything about it before it closes.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I can see it before it closes.
So it's not like it opens up and then closes around him. It's like as he touched the tree, and you saw it out of the corner of your eye, you were getting ready to move ahead stealthily. But it was as if as he touched the tree, it released the sap from almost like its pores that began sort of pouring out around Glack, trying to engulf him. And with that perception check, you look around, and you can actually see there are no smaller creatures. Some of them, they must have been quickly engulfed. But about 50 feet ahead of you, you can see what is quite obviously the remains of a large bear. A fairly large bear, in fact, that must have been hibernating or something. But the tree has almost grown around its form, and it seems to be encased in this sap. And the bear itself is within the sap, and you can see it, because it's a fairly see-through sap, if a little shaded, almost opaque sort of grey at its edges. It's as if the nutrients are being drawn out of the bear by the sap and into the tree itself, which seems slightly more alive than the rest. Just slightly. Almost as if it's nourished by this life energy that it's stolen away from the creature of the forest.
It's essentially draining the life out of the bear.
Yeah. The bear looks long desiccated, though. Its remains are still there, in a bit like Pompeii, almost.
For the headset, as I see people starting to spread out a bit, avoid that one. And quickly snapping a finger towards the one that's actually growing over the bear.
Stealth from everyone else, please.
Well, I need to do it, seeing I'm invisible.
Yes.
I think you get advantage on it because you're invisible.
You do get
Alright.
advantage.
Unless you're flying, you still leave a sort of presence of moving and all that.
Yeah. In fact, your footsteps that you leave behind are still sort of digging into, and the ground is very soft here. Lanwor, as you sort of bend down, and we'll use the same perception as before, you sort of you look at where the bear is, you look at where it's standing, and you sort of come to a realization almost as if it's like the nutrients have been drawn out of the soil as well, which is why it's turned to sand, and your footsteps are leaving such traces, where usually you'd be quiet. And Glack's barely leaving a trace himself, because he's very light, and is moving across this sort of sandy waste. And Dion, being invisible, you can still see his footsteps, but he's making nary a sound as he moves between the trees. Yourself and Pizzazz, however...
Vuvuzela's out.
Yeah, it's not like you're being loud, per se.
Just not being as careful with covering our tracks.
The tracks are very prominent, and...
I'm a large fur bog, and...
Yeah, you are.
Quick, everyone walk in single file. They don't know our numbers.
As you move through this area, it's almost as if the willowy branches of the stooped over trees, tendrils of... As you get further on, the trees become more and more warped as well. Like, you swear that used to be an old oak tree, but now its branches have elongated and become spiny. As you gaze up at it in, quite frankly, abject horror, Lanwor, you're horrified at this perversion of nature and what could have caused it. You have no idea. It's like no tree you've ever seen. One of the tendrils seems to drift lazily on an invisible wind just towards you. You and Pizzazz.
I'd be careful not to let that touch you.
I lean back and say, I think we want to move out of here quickly.
Yes.
It gets to about 10 feet away from you, and you sort of back away slightly, and you hear behind you, with your incredible perception, the shaking of another bough as leaves begin to fall from overhead. I'm going to need a dexterity save, please, from everyone.
No.
Is this to impede movement? Because I have advantage against plants that are magically created or manipulated to impede movement.
Actually, you know what? You would, Dion. Look at that. High-level ranger paying off.
It's Dex, did you say?
Dexterity save. So, Pizzazz, everyone else seems to succeed. Glack, you just sort of dodge between where the leaves begin to fall. Lanwor, you begin sort of batting them away with your staff or an umbrella or something that you might
Sickle.
have. Sickle, yeah. Just sort of batting them away, though. But Pizzazz, you find a particularly large clump begins to sort of descend towards you. And you don't make it out of the way in time, I'm afraid. As a few of them fall on you, and you quickly brush them off. But immediately your skin begins to itch where they hit you, where they even slightly brushed against your skin. You are poisoned.
Okay.
Which means disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks for as long as you're poisoned.
Oh, I've been vulnerable to poison as well.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
From the robes?
I think it was something from the Necronomicon.
That's right. We rolled on your major and minor things. Luckily for you, it does no poison damage. But you are itchy as well.
Mm-hmm.
Most importantly, the rest of you see and begin to see that Pizzazz has already begun scratching away at his skin, where
hay
the
fever's
leaves-
acting up.
Yeah. And you can see yet more of these branches begin to almost... It's as if the trees are beginning to close up behind you as well as you move forward. They seem to almost be shepherding you into a death box. What do any of you wish to do?
Pull out my scrolls and cast Blight on the nearest tree.
Okay, yeah. Constitution save from the tree,
No, it automatically fails.
because it's a tree.
Yep.
I thought it automatically took full damage.
Let me just double check.
I think plants have disadvantage on blight, and they take full damage. Oh, it rolls a 15.
Yeah, it's disadvantage, so that more than fails it.
It rolls a 15, so it fails.
And takes max damage, yeah. Which is...
Blight, does that
8
do necrotic or force?
It is...
It's quite
Necrotic.
important. Okay, yeah, you watch as the blight casts out from your scroll and impacts the tree, and part of the branch does slough away. It does seem to melt into just this black ooze that coats the ground around the tree. And then as you watch...
Oh no, it made the save. If it... Cause it's
DC 15, yeah.
because it's
It
on the
has
scroll.
Yeah, it has a +4.
I think it... No, only... Hang on.
It does take the full thing, though, which 8 times 4 is 32 points of necrotic damage. You watch as the branch melts off into this black sludge that pools around the base of this particular tree, and almost immediately absorbs into the sandy earth around it. And you watch as yet more branches begin to spawn out of this thing's trunk.
Crap.
I'm
Principle.
going to need a very quick initiative check from everyone, please.
We're going to sacred flame the trunk, but yes.
Yeah. Very quick initiative check from everyone.
Is our character on the screen?
Oh shit, I didn't.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Hold on.
There's no people.
Yeah, there are no people yet.
Where are we in 2D?
Yeah, right about there. No, that's the wrong thing. I'll just put you up here. There you go. Just a very quick initiative check. A 25 for possess. There we go. So, as the trees begin to seemingly turn violent, black, preternaturally, you see Pizzazz pull out the scroll, melt a branch of one of these trees, and the sludge begins to pool around it, and near at hand there are about 4 of these creepers, if you like, with the almost teeth-like protrusions coming from the whippy tendrils that drape down from the canopies. What do you do?
Oh, I'm doing the sacred flame.
The sacred flame. Well, the tree fails the sacred flame, and this actually, it seems to. Oh yes, no. You know what? You would all hear it actually, because this is a psychic disturbance. So you all feel over the earpieces a bit of static feedback, almost, as it's almost like a shriek. It's almost like a shrieking sound in your ears, in your minds, in the earpieces. One of these tree branches disappears. It just is engulfed in this radiant light and falls to the ground, cascades to the ground. but it doesn't melt. It just lies there, seemingly cut off from whatever its evil source is. Anything else, Glack? There's a way forward through the forest towards, you can hear the sounds of a slowly bubbling river nearby.
No, bonus action, I'll pull up my Arms of the Astral Self and the Visage as well. But yeah, that's it. I'll
Perfect.
make my way through with the others in a group if we can.
Okay, Lanwor. One of these tree branches has been sloughed off, but yet more are growing out of the trunk of the one that it was cut off of, and there are 3 more of the tooth-covered creepers beginning to drift lazily on an invisible wind, as I mentioned before, towards you. You haven't yet touched them. You don't know what they're going to do if you do.
Seeing Glack sort of actual working with that and Pizzaz's necrotic being absorbed, I'm gonna cast Moonbeam in front of us to sort of carve a path.
Okay, yeah, actually, you know what? That does work, and you sort of bring it over your head, channeling the power of the. You know this forest to be fake, and you channel the power of the moon, and just carve a swath straight ahead. The forest retracts from it, but it begins to sort of creep up behind you now, almost willing you forward through this gap that you've created. Any movement things, or are you just sort of holding fire until?
I'm basically gonna try and use whilst Moonbeam's up to sort of give us a path through this. So I'll move as I move it, because obviously I have to focus it on a point and only move it as and when.
Yeah, you know there's a thin sort of trickling river near at hand, about 60 or 70 feet. No, 160 or 70 feet to the west as you run sort of northward and round the path, which seems to still be clear of debris, aside from that one rope that Pizzazz cut. Not Pizzazz. Glack cut.
Use the cover of the Moonbeam to get out of here.
Okay.
Okay. You begin charging forward. Initiative 20. That would be the 3 creepers. So, and they have +7. Okay. So, and that would have been on Pizzazz, Dion, and Glack. So, a 19 to hit Pizzazz, a 19 to hit Dion, and a nat 20 on Glack, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
19 to Pizzazz, though?
Yep.
Okay. As these thin, almost wispy, they're so light almost, just drift towards you. It touches your skin, and it stings something fierce. You take 13 points of lightning damage, Pizzazz.
Okay.
As it just impacts your skin, and it's like an electric shock from a jellyfish almost. It just bolts up your arm, and you can feel it almost hit your heart. I need a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. Right, that's a magical effect. I'll get advantage on it.
Only on Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma, I believe.
No, because the Archmage robe, it gives me advantage on all magical saves.
So it does.
Nice.
For that 20.
Perfect. You feel it almost stop your heart for a second. Whatever's
I'll
happening.
also need to do a con check on my invisibility spell.
Mm-hmm. Well, you've got at least a +9 to it, so...
Mm-hmm. So that's enough. 30-20.
Yeah, you maintain Dion's invisibility. It would have a disadvantage to hit, but it missed anyway. But yeah, you take 13 points of lightning damage, and you feel your heart almost... you forcibly sort of breathe in, but you just sort of slap yourself, and you're not stunned. However, Glack, this one hit you for a nat 20.
Yep.
So you're going to take 34 points of lightning damage.
I am going to deflect 31 of those points of energy
my-
away from me.
Wow. So you only take 3 points of lightning damage, but still it did do damage to you, so I'm going to need a constitution saving throw, please.
Yep, no problems. I'm just putting on the damage.
As you just managed to deflect it, Lord Zuko style, down your arm and away from you, it doesn't stop your heart. Thankfully. But these things, you can sense that the lightning, it's crackling through them. You don't know. You've never felt or seen anything like this pain. It is incredible. Pizzazz, it's your turn.
Were you hiding in our first aid course there or something?
Yes. Pizzazz.
Seeing that the necrotic blight didn't really work, Pizzazz is going to say, "Fuck it, fire!"
Fire.
And they are going to cast. Burning has a flaming sphere. Let's do flaming sphere. So, big ball of fire appears, and
the tree fails. But as the ball of fire ricochets into, is it one of the tendrils or one of the trees itself?
into the trunks.
Into the trunks. You watch as the sap that previously tried to engulf Glack's hand seems to melt, or the fire seems to melt part of the bark away so that the sap is released, and there is now a small sort of, it's not quite a river, a small trickle of this acidic sap is beginning to run down the trunk of the tree and across your path. It does take the fire damage. I'll mark that on.
And Dion is now visible again.
Alright.
Yes, because it's a concentration spell. And speaking of which, Dion. What are you doing? Are you just running ahead? You've a path has been carved, and you can hear the faint gurgling sounds of a river. There appears to be no sort of creatures to shoot. It's just like the trees themselves have come alive and are conspiring to.
I'll go
to
ahead
hurt
a
you.
little bit.
Yeah.
And report back anything unusual or more unusual than it should be.
Okay,
if I
roll
see
me.
it.
Yeah, roll me a perception check, please. Is forest one of your favorite terrains?
Yes.
Then roll with advantage. As you just begin to scout ahead, your bow suddenly becoming visible, looking around frantically for a way through. Yes, so there you go. You see only like 100 feet ahead of you as you move through the woods, dodging ably away from the tree branches and the thin tendrils of lightning that begin to cascade around your friends. You hear the sounds of like a almost clicking sort of coming from ahead by the bank of the river, you think. You immediately get into a sort of crouching position and begin sort of moving ahead. And you almost trip over, you think at first glance it's a branch, or a fallen branch or a tree root or something. But as you look round, you see what is quite obviously almost like a vein, like a black vein or a tendril or a tentacle or something.
Sort of like the red weed from the War of the Worlds.
Yes, something like that actually. Except it's pure black. And as you look back and sort of almost dust away the sand, and it's fairly easy to do so, it just blows away at the slightest sort of kick of your shoe. It's almost like this thing is pumping, a bit like an artery or a vein, you think. And it seems to be branching out into this sort of groved area that you're in. into the trees itself. Whatever.
Through the headset, I would
Yeah.
relay that to everybody that I've seen this almost vein-looking thing.
Yeah. The rest of you immediately look around, and a Lanwor, you can see this thing. It looks, it's horrible. It's just a black, sort of pulsating, almost inconceivably wet or slimy sort of looking thing underneath, almost like a large worm, but not a worm. It's quite clearly a root or a tentacle or something. It's not a living creature.
Mhm.
It's a thing. But whatever it is, it seems to be pumping this sort of dark, necrotizing force into the surrounding woods. As Dion, you sort of move ahead to about 60 feet from the river. Initiative count 10. The sand begins to whirl up in the breeze, and I'm going to need everyone to make a Constitution saving throw, please. Against blindness, if that matters. If you're immune to being blinded. Maybe.
I mean, we all have blind sight on our headsets.
Mhm.
That is true.
Only for 10 foot. No.
It's a DC 15, so everyone who rolled below that is blinded until the end of their next turn, as just a whip of blinding sandy earth just whizzes around this area. As back to Glack, you try and blink the sand out of your eyes, but you can still
I have
hear.
a question. I wear
Yeah.
goggles to give myself night vision. Would that still affect me?
Yes, I'm afraid so. Mechanically, yeah. It's the
And black shades.
yeah. And
Yeah,
Glack
they
wears
don't do
shades.
nothing.
It's still
Still
kind
good,
of like
though.
barraging you.
Yeah.
It's like it's coming in at the side if you look the wrong way at the beach and just get sandblasted in the face.
Mhm.
It's and as you try and blink it from your eyes, it's as if infusing with your sort of your eyes and your tears that are in there, it's almost like it becomes ash. It's like as soon as it's no longer part of the ground, part of the forest, part of the biosphere, it itself dies, becomes less like sand. It just becomes ash in your eyes. But quickly begins to sort of melt away by the end of your next turn. But Glack, you can easily follow Dion's voice ahead, taking advantage of the swath of destruction carved through the trees by the moonbeam.
Is there any of the tendrils within 10 foot of me at the moment?
Within 10 foot of you,
Yes.
one actually did just hit you, yeah.
Right. So I'm going to punch that one first and then I'll follow Dion.
You're going to punch it? Okay, roll an attack. Yeah, I mean, it hits and it recoils from the radiant energy, but you do automatically take 8 points of lightning damage.
Well, they're not my actual arms, though. Does it still do that? Because these are spectral arms.
But it's a melee attack, right?
Yeah.
Then yes, it heads up your astral self, and
Yeah, astral arms are highly conductive.
yeah, it's almost
Even
your
better.
soul. Yeah, it's your soul being it's your soul and your belief system and your key energy being projected. That's the word. Thank you.
Then in that case, I'm just going to deflect it away from me because I got my reaction back. I'm just going to follow Dion then, so I'll take no damage.
Yeah, and you actually, within the blind sight radius, you reach the sort of tentacle thing that's beneath the earth, and you can, with your blind sight, you can feel it pulsing some sort of darkness through the earth.
Yeah, okay, that's what I'm going to do then.
Okay, Lanwor.
Well, considering I'm sort of blinded now, I'm gonna move the path I was still moving, whilst steering the actual moonbeam towards that pulsating vein.
Ooh, okay. Roll me damage on the moonbeam, please. as it does reach the sort of the tentacle.
How do you read?
Just click on the spell again, I believe.
If you click on the side, open up the sidebar, it has a roll to VTT on the top. You'll do it without using one of your spell slots.
Paper?
Or in roll 20, you can click 2d10.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I'll just do 1, 2.
Okay. This thing does take the damage. It seems to take more than you were expecting. It's as if the radiant magic of this thing, so long trapped underground, so long draining away all the life energy of this thing, of this forest, this part of the forest, tries to absorb the radiant energy. Seems to succeed, but it's almost as if it overloads it somewhat, as if the radiant energy is too strong for it to handle. And it takes 12 points. Okay. And you watch as the branches, the sort of whipping tendrils that were moving around Pizzazz, at this point begin to almost retract, as if scalded, like it's like the trees are veering away from like a terrifying heat source and trying to almost twist away from this light. They lose their initiative. Pizzazz.
Okay, so still got my flaming sphere out.
Mm-hmm.
But it's looking at the spell description. Anything that ends its turn within 5 foot of it gets the damage.
Okay.
So I don't know if the things would take it on the initiative 10. Because they can't technically move out of the way.
Yeah, the trees have initiative 20, so technically,
right.
It takes more fire damage, please.
More fire damage.
And the fire does look to be doing something. It's certainly damaging it, but as a side effect of this fire damage in particular is that the bark is being stripped away, and yet more of this acidic sap is just trickling down the tree, and that's a fair amount. There is now a steady stream between you and the rest of your party.
Right. That's fine.
About 5 foot, 10 foot wide. You need to jump over it. But be careful, certainly, going around it.
That's fine. I am going to... Let's cast let's cast fire bolts. That's it.
Okay.
That's meant to be a disadvantage.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's meant to be a disadvantage. So it's meant to be.
I'll take the 24 damage though.
So that's 4 plus 15, 19 to hit.
Yeah, hits the tree. It takes 24 damage, and a much larger area just gets blasted away.
And then I am going to Misty Step across and to the rest of the party.
Ah, clever. And you leave the ball of fire behind you.
Mm-hmm.
Dion, it's your turn. Everyone seems to have got through the trees. Yes, the sap.
See the sap that's coming out of the trees?
Uh-huh.
Is it running down the tree or is it landing on the ground?
Both, yeah. It's running down the tree's trunk.
Can we see if it's doing any damage to the ground or reacting, or if it's just like pooling?
I'll give you this since you asked for it, but it seems to be almost forming It's like when candle wax goes across something. It's beginning to sort of solidify as it crosses the sand.
Okay.
Yeah. It's forming like a steady stream, and after a fashion begins to solidify. All right.
Like an acidic wax.
Yeah, like an acidic sort of skin that's pooling around the base of that particular tree. But you're way ahead of it now. It seems to be of no danger to anyone at this end. So all your party are around you now. You seem to have gotten past this grove. The only thing that seems to be of any concern is the chittering sort of growling something, some sort of animal, you think. Small, judging by the sound of it, how close to the ground it is. The splashing of the water. They seem to possibly be drinking or frolicking there. And this tentacle thing that's submerged in the earth and currently has a moonbeam, like a laser pointer, focusing down into it. What do you do?
I can't see the chittering creatures, can I?
No, they're further ahead in the undergrowth.
Right, okay.
But you do see the edge of the river.
Just gonna take the opportunity to take a little swig of a potion.
You're still in initiative order, Dion.
I'll go up to the bank of the river and have a look at the water in the river to see if it's safe to enter the water.
Okay, roll me a nature check. This will be the last action this turn. I mean, you move away from your party and you sort of scout ahead. It's dark and oozing, and it's fairly low light in this forest. And as a half orc, you do have dark vision, but it's almost as if you progress further through this sort of area. It's as if color is beginning to be drained. You can't tell just by looking at it. You would need to probably get a sample of it.
Yeah.
But it's slowly oozing, sort of bubbling. Not quite as fast moving as certainly a regular river or stream would be.
I'll say over the headset to the rest of the party that I'm not sure if the water is safe to go in, so we might want to try and find a way over the top or around it. Or if somebody can take a sample.
I certainly can take a sample, but I'm dealing with this right now. Die!
Yeah, it seems as though as you are covering it with radiant energy, it seems like as long as you do this, the tree branches themselves and whatever traps and tricks they have are not affecting you, are not actively pursuing you. It's as if it's writhing in pain itself. The branches. But the root itself, the tentacle, seems helpless to the radiant energy. After a moment, it seems to burn away. If you continue on that sort of path of keeping the moonbeam over it.
Be asking Glack to punch it a few times as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna be sacred flaming, not punching, so I don't get any acid damage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There is no sort of acid damage, but after a fashion, it just seems to wither away and just collapse into a former root that seems to have had all the all the essence, whatever fluid it was pumping or whatever it was moving through the root system of the forest, it seems to have stopped. And as you destroy this particular thing, the 4 trees that were attacking you, they don't immediately die, but the branches do go limp. It's as if this thing was powering them, but simultaneously drawing power from them.
So they'll slowly start to decay.
Yes, they are slowly starting to decay, yes.
And the one that's got my flaming sphere against it is just slowly burning.
Oh yeah, that's slowly burning. Yeah.
I think you're safe to stop your fire now.
No. It hurt me, so it burns. He says, and then that just slyly, like with his arms, snaps his fingers, and another firebolt shoots out and hits the tree.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Better
just
be safe than sorry.
make sure it doesn't spread to the rest of the forest, please.
Yeah.
And
Just
remember
a few
what
short
the
minutes.
White Arcanite does as well.
Yes, I remember. That's why I've not used fireball yet.
Yeah. The White Arcanite is far to the south. After a few short minutes of burning the tree collapses in on itself and slumps forward.
I mean, the flaming sphere only lasts for a minute anyway.
Yeah.
See, with this acid wax.
Mm-hmm. It is quickly hardening since the tree has died, and its seeming power source, whatever the tentacle was, has dried up.
And I will say in Druidic, be at peace, tree.
And
I'm going to speak in Druidic, fuck you, tree.
Dion, you might want to dip your arrowheads into this acid before it fully hardens.
Language, Glack.
The trees do not respond.
The tree burned me. Tree can suck it.
I admit this tree was tainted, but I don't think it was fully in control what it was doing.
Just gonna take my potion of healing.
His arrowheads in the acid pool.
Okay.
First off, does it dissolve the arrowheads, or does it?
Yes.
Right.
Well, I would know by the first one.
Yeah.
If
The first
it
one you
did,
dip in,
'cause-
you smell the smell of sizzling metal and wood, and you withdraw it, and it's like, interesting. The head is gone.
I wonder. Pizzazz is going to cast Mage Hand and touch it with it.
Yeah, it just passes through it fairly easily.
So it doesn't actually pick it up or anything like that. It doesn't dip into it.
Oh, it can. It can lift up liquids.
I'm going for the hardened part.
Oh. Oh, interesting. It would need to be like a strength check, I think, to try and pry away a hardened part of it.
That, or if we hit it and break it.
As I see him doing that, I pull out a vial and stick it in the ground near the mage hand. Maybe try and get it to lift some of the liquid into that.
Oh, I can dip. Well, we can try. And
I'd rather see if it destroys the vial or not.
yeah. So we'll take the vial with my mage hand and dip it in to fish out some acid to see if it stays there or if the vial melts.
Yeah, you manage to attain a sample of this quickly congealing, almost milky white at this point. It congeals into wax, or sap, rather.
Mm-hmm. And pass it over to Lan. And just say, careful, it's still got some on the outside.
I will make sure I don't touch any of the liquid, and I will give it a quick tertiary alchemist.
Well, actually, I could prestidigitate the remnants of it away.
That's fine. You do so. Now, Bob, we've discussed this. Your alchemy supplies take about an hour to fully analyze something, but you can give me a nature check to get a tertiary glance
to see if it looks like any kind of acid I've seen before.
That would be a nature check. Okay. If you can if you wish to spend like 20 minutes, half an hour, and your alchemy kit, then you can more fully identify what it is, but at this point it would just be a nature check, I'm afraid.
Quick nature check. I've worked with enough acids to sort of know the most common ones, so
you know it's a highly potent acidic compound. Interestingly enough, it's as if the tree manufactured it itself. But this kind of tree shouldn't be able to. Perhaps thousands of years ago, millions maybe, of evolution ago, it may have been able to do this. It's as if whatever was feeding into these trees has rewritten it somehow to cause it to make its sap acidic like this.
And it'll just be running through my head some of the corrosive sort of more carnivorous plants.
Yeah. With a 17, you don't know what could have caused it, though.
Yeah, but that's what will be running through my head as we progress forward.
Dion, by this point, by the way, the sort of growling, chittering has moved off, has moved away, disappeared.
All right.
No, not that. When I had more time, I could analyze this properly, but we're pressed for time here.
Time is of the essence.
Okay. Should we head further north towards this crack?
I'm guessing I'd have some kind of stoppers to deal with more acids, and so it won't dissolve as I put it back into the hidden alchemy stuff.
Oh yeah, it quickly hardens.
Okay.
Into a sort of milky, kind of waxiness
substance.
Yeah.
It's unusual.
You would need to scrape it out or melt it, perhaps.
It's unusual as well. And I'll put a stopper in it just.
Yeah.
Just in case. Alright, northwards we go then. Let's not try fighting any more trees.
So, there is no sort of path northwards. The only real sort of path leads side by side for the river. But that does head northwards into the heart of the northern grove, if you like.
Do I need to make another con save to see if I'm still poisoned?
Since the thing is destroyed, yes, you get another save. Actually, good reminder.
14.
And you have advantage.
Yeah. 12.
So no, you're still poisoned, I'm afraid. But it's weird. It's more like a shivery sort of disease than any kind of poison you felt. But you continue on your way, following the river for about half a mile before Dion, leading the pack, and Lanwor, with your incredible perception, you hear those sounds again. That sort of chittering, kind of
I would say Lanwor. It's like that's the sound I had heard earlier.
Would it be a language?
It is not a language. It is the grunting of probably beasts. And Dion, it's coming from around the riverbend. You'd all be back over here, technically. It's coming from around the riverbend. You don't see what's causing it, but you can
Just
you can
the
definitely
general
hear it.
area.
Yeah. It's maybe 60, 70, 80 feet away by your mark. The map continues bottom right corner of the screen, by the way.
Okay.
If you've not spotted that. It's just gone to blackness.
I'm guessing it doesn't sound like most creatures I've either heard or turned into.
No. The best you can probably describe it is like a gremlin, maybe, that you might have seen or heard of in the past. At this point, I'll get another stealth check from all of you, please.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's meant to be a disadvantage rather than advantage. So -7.
Okay. So it was Dion and Lanwor sort of leading the party anyway, right?
Yeah.
Dion, this is your favorite terrain. As you round the corner...
I never did advantage for that.
That's fine, I'll just add 5. Dion, as you round the corner, roll me a perception check, please. Okay. Further down, about 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 feet away, you can see it's like there's a little pack of them. It's like the goblin described to you and Pizzazz. Almost like little chickens. They're kind of cute from this distance. But then, as Pizzazz snaps a twig behind you, and you all look back, and then Dion, you look back at these creatures, there are 4 of them. Sort of previously playing at the water's edge. They turn their maws to you and bear their rows and rows of leech-like teeth. These horrid little monsters with bulbous black eyes. Yeah, and they begin to run.
Run away.
Yes, so they begin to burrow into... Well, they're currently both in the river. Well, 2 of them are in the river and 2 of them are on the bank. The 2 in the river actually are going to use their action to climb out of the river. And the other 2 here to the north are going to begin burrowing. And you can see them burrowing side... no, that's the wrong tool. Reveal areas. They burrow sideways into the forest itself. They seem to be trying to escape. Whatever these things are. And Lanwor, as you move forward and Dion's pointing at these things, these are nothing you've ever seen before.
I've seen some weird creatures and those aren't normal.
I've not seen them either, but they seem easily frightened.
Are you sure they're frightened?
Not 100%.
You hear the sound of scurrying footsteps as they begin to head off, burrowing through the trees.
Or not merely preparing for us. They did say that there was another one that seemed to lead them.
This is true.
And now they've spotted us, we may need to hasten after them and stop them.
What's everyone else doing while these two are having a conversation about the small creatures you've just seen? Anyone doing anything?
No, just watching from a distance. Does it seem like they're going straight down to hide, or does it seem like they're burrowing away?
Well, this second pair begin to follow their brethren through the... Oh.
26.
Okay. So the first two are gone by that point, and you can hear them sort of through the tree line, still scrabbling amongst the roots. They're not particularly fast. But 26, yeah, that's going to hit them.
For 18 fire damage.
Yeah, and you fire upon these two, and one of them incinerates immediately.
Damn, overcooked it.
No,
I mean...
the other one is about to scrabble into the hole, unless anyone wishes to do anything.
Dion will fire.
Perfect. Roll your attack. You are aware, by the way, you're about 3 miles south of the northern wall.
16 hit?
16 just hits, yeah. Just barely. And 11 is actually enough to take the second one out. As it turns tail and begins to run, you just skewer it against the ground. The first one is just completely blown away, but you have a body. The other two, however, seem to have gotten away.
I remember the goblins being a lot tougher when we fought them. How did these things hurt them?
You mean,
I mean,
your sister?
Surprise attacks, maybe?
Maybe they hunt in packs.
Well, we don't really know what these creatures are. They may not be big, but they could be very tough.
I think it's more a venom or something in their teeth. I mean, wares have a tendency to be immune to all but magical damage. So there must be something very nasty about their teeth.
Mm.
So let's not get bitten by any of these things. Can we move down that way? I want to see if I can figure out what the have a look at their teeth, but cautiously, maybe using my weapons not to actually put my hand anywhere near the actual teeth.
Yeah, the body of one of them is gone, but as you move sort of through the river as well, by the way, I'm just going to let you have this. It's
I thought that was a path.
Oh, no, that's the river. It's slow and brackish and seems to be giving off the same sort of black ooze that was almost pumping through the tentacle that you destroyed, by the way. But you get up close enough to see this creature, and whatever it is, if it's any sort of animal, any sort of beast, you've never seen it. This thing is monstrous. It's a little horrid little monster. Yeah. They're truly wretched.
Why is everyone standing back there? I need someone to guard me whilst I check see if what.
I mean, guarded you from a distance, doesn't that count?
Not if the thing appears right behind me.
Yeah,
I mean,
but they could be playing possum.
I've got
I
quite a
could
lot
have had
high
you
range. Yeah, I've got quite a high range for my firebolt as well.
I understand the rangers and the magic user, but Glack.
You get 10 feet away.
I mean, I hate to say this, Lamb, but every time we go on an adventure, you get taken down first. So it's not sensible to stand next to you.
Okay.
Cobalt logic.
I will use my sickle to sort of prise its mouth open a bit to see if I can see anything maybe oozing down the teeth. And
I mean, aside from its own blood from clearly when Dion shot it, roll me a this would be investigation.
Okay.
Nothing, no sort of poison or anything coating the teeth that you can see. Maybe it's got a poison gland or something, but it's not. The poison isn't coating its teeth. The thing you do notice though with that, it was a low DC to realize this, but the teeth marks, the lamprey leech-like mouths, it does match the wounds that you helped to heal on the goblin earlier. The mouths are the same size. There are 3 or 4 rows of teeth, and they all seem to point inwards, down into a throat of just darkness, pitiless darkness.
They've got a very hooked form, like roses and things like that, so you really don't want this thing biting you. I'm surprised the goblin managed to wrench itself free of this damn thing.
What's everyone else doing while we'll say that your investigation of the body takes a couple of minutes? Is everyone else just securing the area, or are you looking around this particular bit?
Dion would be watching for any other creatures coming our way.
So
Yeah, just general looking around.
Everyone roll perception then, aside from Lanwor. Oh dear.
Oh dear God.
The best one at
Dion,
perception.
I was going to say, Dion, because this is your favourite terrain, do you not get advantage?
Ah,
You do.
it's been so long, okay? I'm not usually in forest land.
Yeah, it's almost like rangers are very niche. I knew someone who was playing a ranger, and it was set entirely in a frozen tundra, and their favoured terrain was the Underdark. And I asked them what the point was, and they said flavor. And I was like, that's fair. You know what? We might end up in the Underdark at some point. Yeah, we might. But Dion, a 9? No. Pizzazz, with the 12, you're fairly confident in your abilities. As you look around, there's nothing nearby that you can tell. However, on the other side of this river, over about here, you can make out the signs of a scuffle. There's definitely some blood, some blackness, footsteps, again, roughly the size of a medium creature, and between 1 and 10 small creatures. You think that perhaps
spin around and cast another firebolt.
Yep, you do so. It hits the brush nearby. Nothing.
Fire.
Yeah, nothing comes out. But as you sort of look and your mind sort of thinks back, you reckon this may have been where Lanwor, what was the name of your tree again?
Lantry.
Yeah, this may have been where Lantry and
Brambalan,
his party of goblin werebats may have been scouting. when they were surprised, ambushed, perhaps.
Keep your wits about you, boys.
Lanwor, just as you're finishing up examining this creature, is there anything else you want to do? Do you want to cut it open or something else?
Test its teeth to see if there's any like acid or venom.
I will press the blade of my against one of the teeth to see if movement in the teeth actually is what makes the poison come out or something. I will think of the sort of ways of most of the other venomous creatures inject their poison and try that.
Yeah. It actually, trying this out, it actually behaves somewhat like a snake's fangs, except that there are dozens of these of the teeth.
See the sort of venom trickle down the blade and look at the coloration of it. Or
Getting more to the point, how's the blade?
The blade is fine.
Alright.
Pizzazz, do you see? Have you got any way to determine the magic of this? Maybe if it's got some elements of magic to it or something that done some, which.
When you say that, Pizzazz
Whoa!
taps his staff against the ground and casts detect magic.
Detect magic. Oh dear. Okay.
Oh no.
So these things are inherently magical. So the bodies do show up, and as you sort of flash around, and it's a 30-foot. Is it like a sonar system? Your detect magic comes up, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. You feel eight. No, it would be 10 more blips heading in your direction, and are getting quite close. Actually, you do it just in time, so that you're not surprised as they lunge out of the trees. 10 more of these creatures, in sort of packs of 2. Actually, 2 of them dig up behind Glack, and coming with them, in fact, would be, one of these things here as the leader. You see 10 more of these creatures begin to burrow out of the ground and out of trees and out of the roots. Meanwhile, slightly further away from the fight, this massive slug-like creature, seemingly filled with shards of glass, melts, it almost bubbles its way through the ground, on the edge of the lake, in fact, on the edge of the river. And at this point, it will be initiative.
Mm-hmm.
This seems to be my number now.
15 again.
Turn order. There it is.
Would you say it would have been 10 minutes since the last fight?
Yeah, at least 10 minutes, I'd say.
Okay.
Burrows up about there.
Can you just put a mark on this one so...
No, it's dead.
Oh, yeah, I know. So they all have health bars above their heads, except for that one. It's an empty one.
So it's not showing.
We don't see that.
For me, it is. It's so that you don't know how much health they have, guys.
Yeah,
obviously.
But a mark on that one, so we
don't attack it.
You know what? I'll just move that one over here then. Oh no! Wait, hold on. I can just do this. Da da da. Dun da da. There we go.
Works.
Yep. Just bring up the stat block for the guilty. Okay, and it's got plus that. Interesting.
I'm sure.
So, top of the initiative order, Glack. You just feel the ground burrow on both sides around you, in fact. It's you have the initiative order. They don't have the surprise on you. Arg.
Bonus action, the arms and the helmet comes down. I'm just going to lash out one to the left and one to the right.
Perfect. Roll your attacks.
So, left.
Yep, one of them goes down. They are packs of 2, remember. So, just so you're aware. Each picture of them, they are both small, these creatures. There are 2 of them in each square.
Then I will hit the second one in the same square then.
Yeah, so those both die.
Okay, and then that's it.
And as you hit them with radiant energy, you do have a... Oh no, it's a bonus action you've used.
Yeah, I've already done.
As you hit them both with radiant energy, it's almost like the darkness within them seems to burn up completely, and they turn to piles of ash, in fact. Perfect. That's your turn. And you turn to face 2 more behind you as it's the guilty. And so I'm going to need... It will be... Yeah, why not? It will be pizzazz, in fact. Make me a wisdom saving throw, please.
Okie dokie. Nine.
Oh dear.
I rolled a 1 and a 2.
Yep. Yeah, you did. That's quite a shame. As you feel this thing, you look across and you see it wiggling its snail-like, slug-like rather, eye-like appendages, and you spot yourself reflected in the mirrors, the bits of glass that are embedded in its horrible oozing skin, and you just feel so sorry for this little creature. Whatever it is, you feel just your mind overtaken with guilt that this thing is even existing, whatever it might have been in a previous life, a previous existence. You are considered
snails homeless.
Yeah, you are considered linked with it, and it is going to force you to make another wisdom saving throw, and due to the fact that you have it is linked, you have disadvantage on it.
So it's a straight roll then.
So it's a flat roll, yes. Wisdom save.
When you say
22.
Pizzazz is linked to Guilty, does that mean if Guilty was to take damage, Pizzazz would take it as well?
You don't know. But
Fair
Pizzazz,
enough.
as the thing seems to try and burrow into your mind, trying to make you feel even more guilty about its existence, you just shrug it off. With difficulty, you still do feel sorry for it. You are considered its host. Okay?
Okay.
You can also no longer see it.
He can't see it.
Even with Detect Magic up?
You sense its magicalness, its inherent magicalness, but you don't see it. It's like your mind has gotten lost in the shards of glass and mirrors on its back.
Mm-hmm.
You can no longer physically see it with your eyes. Lanwor. You've turned around. 2 of them have died, melted into ash. There are yet more of these creatures, though.
Turning and seeing the rest and seeing the guilty one, I will use Thorn Whip and grapple the guilty one and say, this is the leader one. You're dead first.
What's the range on that?
60.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 30. Roll your attack. Oh, 25.
Yep.
That does hit, actually.
And it's pulled 10 feet towards me.
Okay. You pull it into the river. And I think the Thorn Whip then releases it, right?
Thorn Whip towards you. Can I attack?
Yeah, it would do.
Yeah. It just says pulls at 10 feet closer.
Yeah.
Doesn't say anything about staying attached or anything like that.
Yeah. So, you watch as the whip lashes out and grabs around it. It's as if the shadows that cling around this area of the forest seem to grant it some sort of temporary reprieve. The damage seemingly doing less than what you would imagine it would. Any bonus actions?
Just see what I can do as a bonus action. No, I'm not gonna do any bonus action, but I am going to move a few. Move this way a bit.
Okay. You'd be wading through the water, just so you know.
Yeah.
That's fine.
How slow would the water slow me down? I've got
it's sluggish. I'll say difficult terrain.
so
There.
I was there, so
10, 20. So you'd get to that outcropping there, in fact.
right. Okay, with that.
Yeah, these are small creatures, though, and they're able to occupy a space. I'm just putting them beside you for ease. And it's their turn now, and all 4 of the pack tactics are gonna rush forward. 5 creature allies incapacitated. Pack tactics. Okay, and it's got plus all of those. So each one has pack tactics, so there's 2 each. So the first 2 on Dion, we'll say. An 18, a 21 to hit you, Dion.
A 21 hits.
A 16 is going to miss. Then on Pizzazz, a 17.
Nope.
And a nat 20.
Yep.
The 2 on Bob, a 22 to hit. And a 12 is going to miss. And on Glack, a dirty 20 and a dirty 20.
Miss and a miss.
Oh shit, son.
22 hit.
22 hits you, Bob.
Before you go any further, James,
Yeah.
the one that missed me, I'm going to stand against the tides.
Okay, what does that do?
When a hostile creature messes you with a melee attack, you can use your reaction to force that creature to repeat the same attack against another creature other than itself of your choice.
Uh-huh.
So, I would like the one that missed me to attack his buddy.
Okay. Now, a feature of the Wretched, it means it has disadvantage on this attack roll, incidentally, because it has improved pack tactics. So it rolls with disadvantage and rolls an at 1. So it doesn't hit you, but luckily it doesn't. It doesn't hit its ally. So it was 1 hit on Dion, 1 hit on Lanwor, and a crit on a 17 hit you, didn't it, Pizzazz? No?
17 misses.
Okay, so 2 hits and 1 crit. So just roll the damage here. Attached at the start of each of its turns.
It would only be the crit that would hit me.
Perfect. So Dion, you're going to take 5 points of piercing damage, and this thing grabs hold of you. One of them does anyway, the one that hit you, and just sort of latches and buries onto your skin like a leech, and you just sort of waggle your arm, and it's holding on. Lanwor, you similarly take 6 points, and Pizzazz, jeez, you take 5 points from the crit.
So am I grappled?
What kind of damage is that?
Piercing, and it is attached to you.
Alright, okay.
And you can use an action to attempt to detach one. That is their turns. Dion, it's your turn.
I'm gonna attempt to detach one of them.
Okay. How are you doing so? Are you just stabbing it, or are you?
I'm gonna use my short swords to hit it.
Okay.
See if that will make it let go.
Yeah, roll to attack. That hits it. Roll damage. Yep. And that actually cuts the head off of the one that's attached to you. The head stays attached to your skin, but you can feel its grip only loosen ever so slightly. You reckon it won't do you any more damage. You've got it off you. You've got second attack though. There's another one right beside you as well.
I'll use my short sword on that other one.
Sorry, it's an action to detach it. So that would be your action. My mistake.
Okay.
Any bonus actions though?
I will move.
Yeah, where to?
I shall go over here.
Perfect. Well, the one that was right in front of you is going to make an attack with disadvantage. But a 11 is going to miss you. As Pizzazz, it's your turn.
Okay.
You've got one attached to you, and seem to be draining away on your life.
On your life essence.
Okay. So there's what, 8? Is it 8 or 7 left?
There is 2, 4, 6, 7 left.
7.
One attached to you, one attached to Lanwor. Glack, you're on deck, by the way.
Yep.
So let us do a 5th level magic missile to hit each one of the wretched.
Perfect.
So that would be 5 damage on each of them. Yeah, 1 dart each.
Okay.
5 damage to each of them.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's enough to bloody all of them. They aren't particularly beefy creatures. And this looks to have just been a quick sort of ambush almost, trying to chance their luck. But that's your turn, Pizzazz. One is still attached to you.
That's fine.
And at the... It's the start of its turn. Never mind. So, Glack, it's your turn.
Okay, I'm going to punch one of the ones in front of me.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And punch the other one.
They both... Oh, the second one just barely... Oh no, it was damaged. Yeah, they both die. And they both turn to ash, those ones. Because you killed them with radiant damage.
Yep. And then standing where I am, I'm going to use my last 2 punches on the 2 in front of Lanwor. So, 1 and 2.
Okay. You'd actually...
I have a 10-foot range.
Yeah, so roll if you could with disadvantage on the second one, since it's technically on Lanwor and it's a smaller target.
Sure. I'll just roll again.
Mm-hmm. So just roll a d20. Same thing.
Same roll. Yeah, and those both die. And Lanwor, the one on you squishes against your skin, and the teeth embed slightly more. You're going to take 4 points of necrotic damage.
Outside, my bad.
as it decays inside you.
And in fact, as you look down and the teeth sort of bury in, you can see the black veins that were on the wereback goblin begin to spread up your arm, but it was quickly squashed by Glack. It's more like the poison necrotic energy was pushed into your veins rather than it managed to get a solid bite in. But Glack, that's your turn.
Yeah, I'm just going to move up to within 10 foot of these two, and then yeah.
And that one, hold on, is gone completely. Oh no, they turned to dust as well. Never mind. Cool. So it's the Guilty's turn, and it squelches closer and onto, like, up behind Pizzazz, almost like a... Yeah, and Dion and Glack and Lanwor, you can see this thing. But like that terrible Doctor Who monster that attached to Donna Noble,
There's
Pizzazz,
something on your back.
Yeah, Pizzazz, you don't see this, as it does sort of squelch up your back, and it shivers up your back, basically. And it is going to try and tail attack you twice. 1, 2. Because you're linked to it, it has advantage. But a 14, my gosh. Oh man, this fucking thing. And you feel regret overcome you, so make me a wisdom saving throw, please, disadvantage. Or flat roll, rather, it would be.
11.
That's going to fail, I'm afraid. And you're going to take 17 points of psychic damage. As just a wave of guilt and regret just washes over you. And something happens to it. Half as much. Perfect. The rest of you watch it bulk up slightly. As Lanwor, it's your turn.
I don't think so, and I'm going to use my guiding bolt on it.
Okay, yeah, roll your attack. And it's radiant. Perfect. That's going to hit.
So anyone has advantage to hit that. And I will, as a bonus action, teleport across to Dion.
Perfect. It's the Wretched now. There are very few of them left. All 3 of the ones remaining... Oh, at the start of its turn, Pizzazz automatically takes... It is going to be halved. So 10 half to 5 necrotic damage as black veins begin to spread up your arm from where the first one attacked you. And the other 2 are going to attack you both with advantage because there's one on you already. A 22 to hit you and a 19 to hit you.
Yep. Actually, no, I'm going to shield.
Okay, yeah, so you just, as the 2 of them leap at you, you just instinctively bring up your shield. Perfect. So that brings your AC up to
23.
I don't know, 23. Perfect. As Dion the Hunter, it's your turn. One is still clinging on to Pizzazz, and you can see black veins begin to spread up his arm, up his spellcasting arm. 2 more of them have just bounced off his arcane purple shield, and there is a giant slug-like thing on Pizzazz's back, seemingly almost interfacing with his brain. Almost digging shards of glass that are in its form into him.
It's also glowing and pulsing.
It is also glowing and pulsing with radiant energy. What do you do, Dion? It's your turn with Pizzazz on deck.
I will attack Guilty.
You'll attack the Guilty. Perfect.
Yeah.
You have advantage.
You see, I have advantage, Bob.
On the first shot. After that, it's just normal.
Normal attack.
Apparently you didn't need that.
And your damage and then second attack. Again, because you watch as the shadows in this area. Oh no, it's radianted. Never mind, it takes full damage.
And I'm going to re-roll that damage because I have Piercer.
Okay.
That allows me to do two things: critical hit and re-roll damage. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with an attack that deals piercing damage, you can re-roll one of the attacks as damage dice, and you must use the new roll.
Ah, that's a Tasha's Cauldron feat. Yeah, sure,
Is
go
it?
for it. Yeah, it's a new one. Go for
I
it.
know it used to be UA.
Yeah, Piercer
So
and
just
Crusher. Yeah,
Do the
re-roll.
damage again.
Yeah, click the damage again. There we go.
Huh.
One extra damage.
Every little helps.
It does. And your second
yeah.
attack. Flat roll this time. Yeah, hits.
I really didn't need to help him.
Yeah. This second time you watch as the shadows, as the radiant light fades from it, the shadows envelop around it and seem to grant it resistance to this damage.
Oh.
Yeah. Pizzazz.
Okay.
You can feel something burrowing on your skin. Both the wretched and the guilty, in fact. It's your turn.
So how many wretched are left?
There are 3. One is currently on your body.
Okay. Let's do a first level magic missile then.
Perfect.
For another max damage of 5 each.
Nice. All 3 of them now actually are pierced by this energy, and all 3 of them die.
Cool. Pizzazz would turn to the rest of the party and go, well, that's all that sorted out then.
No.
You've got one on your back.
There's what?
I mean, on your back, there's a slimy thing.
Pizzazz would like do the spinny round trying to look at his back thing.
Yeah. You don't see anything. Glack, it's your turn.
Punch. A punch.
What are you punching me for?
Yeah, you're punching out at Pizzazz. Pizzazz
actually,
it's spooking you
that's pack
slightly.
tactics. So I get advantage, so that's just
That's
one
true.
punch.
So the first punch, 16 damage, which it doubles. Oh shit.
Second punch is a 28, and I'm going to put in an extra... Oh, Jesus, an extra 1. For 12 radiant damage for the second punch.
Oh dear. It's not looking good.
Is it still alive?
It doesn't look to be. It does look to be, yes. It's still clinging to Pizzazz.
Then punch.
And actually that takes it out. And as you punch into it that second time, it shrivels up and burns away to nothing, I'm afraid.
Like, now, do you see on the floor where that is like dribbling
Where
away to
the hell
nothingness?
did that come from?
On your back.
You, unfortunately, my friend.
Oh, is it a lich thing? Are you becoming a lich? Is this what happens? You get weird backpacks.
Not that I'm aware of.
So there are now 1, 2, 3, 4 bodies of them now. The 3 that you've killed in this fight with magic missiles, and the one that Lanwor was investigating before. But as the darkness and the silence once more in the forest becomes absolute, a few miles away to the north, you can hear yet another sort of, not an explosion, but still a rumble, as if of like an aftershock from an earthquake.
How is everyone doing? Do I need to do fast healing, or have we got some time to do some magical hopscotch?
Oh, I'm good. I don't know about everybody else.
I've taken a fair bit of damage.
Okay. Anyone else needing healing, or shall I just concentrate on Pizzazz?
Nah, I'm good.
Okay.
But do you want me to? I'm going to get rid of all these little bunny things.
Okay.
I'm just going to start clicking out sacred flames to burn them up.
What, don't you want pocket chicken?
I mean, have you seen their teeth? You don't eat stuff with teeth like that.
I mean, you don't need to have the head, you know?
After you, man.
Yeah, you're easily able to destroy these things if you want to.
Yep.
Yeah, perfect. They burn to ash.
$11 points plus extra because of using the sickle. I give you another check. There's equipment. Moon sickle plus an RD4.
Oh, you rolled hot trash on that, didn't you?
Yep. 3 ones, including the extra I get from the sickle.
You notice all the additional damage and healing that was done has all been won?
It's fun. You're only 2 away from minimum health back there. That's great. Thank you, Bob. Pleased. I'm pleased with that.
How much did I get back, sorry?
You got
12.
For level 4 plus.
Oh my god. A level 4 spell. Oh man.
I mean, it's better than nothing.
I know, but wow.
I'm gonna slip you a common potion of healing because I've got 2 left now.
I've got a couple of spells of cure wounds, I think. Let me just double check.
If I use it, I can. My sickle will give it extra.
You need to restock your first aid kit, Lan.
Yeah, I've got 4 scrolls of cure wounds. I'll give them to you.
Alright, how many?
I mean,
how many do you
this is
want
why I
used on
brought
you?
potions of healing because we don't have a healer.
How many do you want used on you?
Just do the one at the moment.
Okay.
So it's, I can't remember what cure wounds is off the top of my head. Is it 44?
Cure wounds. It's 1d8.
Yeah, plus your spellcasting modifier.
Yep.
Plus your moon sickle thing.
Plus 5, so. How many d8 did you say?
What, just the one?
Just one, yeah.
Plus 5. 10, and you get another 4.
Nice.
That's better.
A first level spell scroll did more health
than
a 4th level spell slot.
Fuck's sake.
Oh, you'll get to the final boss fight and be thinking, oh no, all I need is a 4th level spell. I can wait. Shit, no, I spent it doing 12 health.
I mean, I did a 5th level magic missile.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, it did max damage on them, but still.
Yeah, I've got.
Speaking of which, the bodies have now all been disintegrated.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the veins that have that began making their way up Pizzazz's arms seem to more than not just almost be cleansed.
I'm hesitant to use holy water on yourself, Pizzazz, but I do have.
I would rather you not.
I do. I bring this as an ingredient to one of the more potent healing spells I have. Apparently, my magic is a little on the fritz in this area. Well, my natural magic. The scroll seems to work okay. Shall we get moving before more comes?
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. As you get further and further north, continuing on your journey, and you know where you're going. I mean, you just have to follow the path, really, because there was a small sort of outcropping nearby, just to sort of keep an eye on the gap in the wall, or the crack rather. You continue on your way, and you're about half a mile. Well, you're about a mile away before you see yet another patrol of these things. Another 10 of those wretched creatures, the little chicken-looking things with the leech mouths, being led by yet another slug covered in glass shards, just sort of squelching through the undergrowth. And as you sort of try and creep forward, you spot them about 100 foot ahead of you. The slug almost seems to sniff the air somewhat, and then deciding against whatever it is, it continues on its path through the woods. And following along in its wake, you swear you can see yet another one of those tentacles, another one of those veins or arteries almost begin to form, like of its slime trail, and burrow into the earth. These things are coming from the north, from the crack. Whatever they are, they're not of this world, they're not of this plane. You continue on your way, and you're less than half a mile from what you know to be the far north of Willowwood. And you begin to hear sounds. Terrible, terrible sounds. Unearthly sounds. Clacking and creaking of trees that have clearly fallen under the sway, or whatever remains of the trees anyway. Yet more of the bestial sort of growls of these wretched wails and moans, and something else above it all, almost like a sort of howling wind. Winds and dust heading just on a breeze, unseen, through the trees in your direction. We'll put you here.
Through the headset, I want to say to them, I have something to maybe give us a bit of a health boost, but it will kind of go against your normal, natural ways to fight.
In what way?
I have the ability to change us all in animals. You've seen how I fight as my in the different forms. You gain the health of them for a while, but as soon as that drops, you revert. But you'll retain all your intelligence and everything, like I do.
What kind of animal?
I was going to say, do you reckon you can turn us into those things?
Since they're not an animal I particularly know, or I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I could try. OGM, what would I need to do to be able to use animal shape to turn us into the little pack of these things?
Well, what is the rules of the spell?
If it specifies like beast or something, probably not.
Magical, you choose any number of willing creatures within the area. It's CR4 or lower.
Yeah. Read immediately before challenge rating of 4 or lower into the form of a large or smaller beast.
Yes, and
I'm afraid
these aren't quite beasts.
No. They are bestial in nature, and your examination of them turned up that they may have at one point been real creatures, but they are no longer. They are hideous monsters.
Can you see any bats around?
I mean,
You've not seen any animals in quite some time.
I'm thinking more of something larger to give us a temporary boost of health if we really need it. If we're going to fight a large number of these things,
Can you turn us all into giant apes?
I can turn us
Yes.
all into.
I'll have opposable thumbs.
I can turn us all into giant elephants. And
They're not particularly fast, though, are they?
or if we are needing something of speed, I can turn us into lesser powerful creatures. I mean, you've seen my eagle form.
Can you turn us all into eagles?
Yes. The largest creatures I can.
What about a giant owl instead, so we get the stealth?
Giant owls are pretty giant, to be honest.
I'm now checking the challenge rating for a giant owl.
Oh, I think it's only like 1 or 2.
I'm glad that you can actually sort it into flying creatures and all that for movement types. Filters. I do not know how you pronounce that fucking name.
Post it into chat.
The largest CR creature I can actually turn us into.
Quetzalcoatl?
Yeah.
Yeah, Quetzalcoatlus.
Quetzalcoatl.
They're like little dragon things.
Mm-hmm. That's about the largest flying creature I think I can manage. Or, like I said, the giant eagle. If we were wanting to still have health and be able to fly around. But, I mean, the more powerful ones may give us more health. It depends on how we want to use this. This is a pretty powerful spell. I do not know how you want to proceed with this one.
Well, do we want to make our way directly to the, big black hole, or are we going to fight our way through?
I mean, they seem to be not very good against radiant damage, but I don't have, other than spells, radiant. Zaz, do you have any radiant spells?
I prepared a few, yeah.
Damn. They're on to me.
Granted, they're higher level ones, so I can only cast them like once or twice.
Yes.
Well, if you can herd them into me, I can do the cleanup.
Oh, granted, one of them is a 60-foot radius spell.
Or
Sunbeam?
Does not sunbeam, sunburst.
Oh shit.
Does 12d6 radiant.
I mean, I can keep this spell back if we want an escape route, or if we need that, like I said, that extra bit oomph of health.
I would hang on.
Maybe keep it.
Yeah, hang on to it for the time being.
I just thought it's more prudent to tell you about it before we end up in. But you will
situation.
You will have to be within 30 feet of me for it to work.
I think we can get within 30 feet. That should be fine.
What's the plan, gang?
Okay.
Onwards to the portal.
Yeah.
All right. Go charging in or being stealthy?
Can I watch and make a perception check to see if I can see a sort of pattern or routine from any of the patrolling things to see if there's a gap where we can maybe move forward?
Pizzazz is going to pull his broom flying out of his bag of holding and try to go a bit higher, or like go about 50 foot up.
Oh, wait. Come back.
Go down.
I've got a plan first. Come back. And then when everyone is together, I'm not sure how long this lasts. It was sold to me by a very just, let's say, a dodgy goblin dealer. But I mean, it might give us something for a little bit.
Okay.
2d4 minutes.
7
minutes. Nice.
Pretty good.
Right.
How is that maxing out at 7?
Because one of them was a max.
Yeah. 3.
Right. I'm just sitting there thinking, why is it green? But yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah. So while invisible, Pizzazz, you rise up on your broom and you can see, yes, less than half a mile ahead. You could get there within 6 or 7 minutes if you hurried or if you flew. You can see at this point, it's almost as if the gap in the wall, the scab, the scar, whatever it is, it's about 30, 40 foot high. And emanating out from it, these dark black tendrils spreading through the wall, through the crack in the wall, and out into the ground, into the walls of the cavern itself, into the walls of the tower. And there are more of these things. Dozens of the wretched, a few more of those slug-like creatures. There's even one that it's very strange. It's as if it's got giant hook spikes coming out of its shoulder, a bit like Doc Ock from Spider-Man. That seems to be moving around and pointing and controlling or commanding the lesser creatures here. It looks to be in charge, but even it is still, you reckon, fairly small fry. It looks to be the leader of this squadron, or this band, of however many there is. But it's pointing back at the portal, and more of them are sort of seeping through with supplies, poles and pegs and metal and bits of wood and various things, and they're sort of hammering things into walls, into the ground, around these black tendrils. It's like they're making maybe not an anchor point, but some sort of base or camp on this side of the portal.
Base of operation.
Would relay all this back down to the party.
Well, we may want to destroy this forward base of operation of theirs. Shall we?
Makes sense.
We shall.
Are you flying to get there quicker, or are you
So
charging through the woods?
With the brooms, because I'm sure Gluck's got one as well.
Dion's got one.
Black does not.
Does it not?
No.
I think it's
So
Can Gluck not hitch a ride?
yeah, that's what I was going to say. If
we'll have
the
to,
2 small creatures go with the 2 others, or one each, we shouldn't hit the max weight on the brooms, so we can essentially dash over there and get there in a couple of minutes.
because if I turn into an eagle or anything to fly across there, I break the invisibility. So we'll double up, knowing how spells work.
Yep, and quickly you do so, and as you fly actually further north, and every single step or every single second closer to this this horrible area, it weighs on your soul, and you just feel despair, and you feel anger, and a sense of loss and hunger, and almost just the most negative emotions you've ever felt in your entire life. Every bad moment of your existence replays in your hearts. And you find yourself, after a fashion, within a couple of minutes, flying overhead, and you're looking down into a clearing, which
once we're within 120 foot of the gateway, I'm going to try cast. Oh, I'm going to cast a spell magic to see if I can dispel it.
You will become visible.
That's fine.
Okay. Are you waiting until you get within a closer distance, or just 120 feet? You're just gonna. That's the plan.
Once I get roughly 120 feet away from it, I'm gonna try to dispel it, if that's okay with you guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's enough time to discuss it with your party members. You attempt to dispel it, and you are unable to dispel it, I'm afraid.
Okay. Once I've done that, I will dip the broom down to head into the canopy of the trees.
Yeah. I will let you roll an Arcana check, though, as you find you're unable to dispel it, just to see how much you know about planar portals, the likes of this.
19.
19?
I'll roll the line.
Yeah, so something is keeping it open. Some force of will or personality or magical presence, quite frankly, that is greater than your own spellcasting ability. As great as it is, something either on this side of the portal, possibly those veins that are bubbling around its entrance and infecting the wood, or maybe something on the other side of the portal is keeping it open through sheer force of will.
That, or I think it's a sigil key.
Or a sigil key, possibly.
Because I know sigil keys are like they're classed as artifacts, aren't they?
Yes,
and
you can't just dispel.
Yeah, they're like 10th or 11th level spell.
Yeah, it's like a permanent gate, or a permanent portal to another plane. You don't see what's beyond the gap. In fact, it would be up here.
Whenever you mention the crack, all I'm imagining is the crack from Doctor Who.
It's closer to the Stranger Things gateway to the Upside Down.
Gotcha.
It's below the lab. That's it there, right at the top. Being guarded by this hooked thing, and seemingly it's small, the guilty generals. And 120 feet away, you could land round about here, or in this clearing. There's a decent area of rock there that you could sort of hide behind and approach, but Pizzazz, you are now visible.
Okay. Because of all these things there, then. What range is that?
And these black marks, by the way, are veins or tentacles, or just dark sort of shoots, almost from almost from a tree root, spreading out from the portal. Some of them are half buried in the ground. Some of them are flying through the air. Some of them are in the rock.
So, because we're roughly about 120 foot away from the portal, we're well within fireball range. I'm going to center the fireball on the Lost.
Okay, this will trigger initiative if there's nothing else anyone wishes to do.
I'm gonna summer a fire elemental inside of his fireball to give it a booming presence of it coming into battle.
I mean, I would cast it just after it,
Yeah.
so it doesn't get hit by it.
Yeah.
If
So,
I'm 60 foot away from anything, I will zap it with a Spare the Dying. No, it's a Sacred Flame.
Right.
All on the Lost, I presume.
Centered on, well, I would try to get it so it would hit as many as possible.
Okay.
So it's what is it, 20-foot radius?
Yeah.
So
Oh wait. I can't do
Let's
that.
remove.
Conjure an elemental costing me a minute to cast, so I'd have to be casting it as we go.
Is that possible?
Yeah. Casting would bring me visible, and they'd see me going
okay.
rah 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 to summon forth the elemental
Fair enough.
in the air.
Well, let's roll initiative, and you can do what it is you do.
Okay.
select the character.
Come on.
I never got a 15 this time. I don't know what's going on.
That's fine. I always roll low.
So, we're more up this way. That. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Lanwor was too busy thinking of yeah, if I cast this I can. Oh wait, we're here. Oh shit.
Perfect. Wow, Dion's going first and not
Yeah.
not Galak. That's weird. So
Fireball is centered here,
perfect.
and it hits basically
Everything except that guy and this one. Perfect. Well, they're not expecting it, so that's the first action. As Dion, still on the broom, you watch as an inferno is summoned amongst all these things. Many of the wretched are incinerated, about half of them. But there are at least 25 more. There were about 50 of these tiny little critters to start with. You see as the fireball lands, some of them burrow into the ground, some of them dive for cover, dive into the trees. A few of them even chomp into the black necrotic roots that are taking hold of the forest and seem to be emboldened, bolstered by its presence, the thick sludge seemingly giving them a modicum of life. The guilty, one of them just completely falls by the wayside, screaming as the glass shards embedded in its skin just melt away and murder it entirely. And that was the one that I used as the bloody turn order. Not the 9. Anyone remember what it rolled? It rolled a 14. That's right. As stepping out of this this mist, if you like, this inferno, a fire elemental. Thanks, Lan. Sick.
Alright,
I have no fire. I have no fire elementals. It has, of course, summoning sickness, as we've explored in the past. Let me grab.
Could I have put up my astral form as they were doing this?
Yeah, of course.
Cool.
And we'll just tint it red. Perfect.
Fire elemental frog.
Right.
The
It takes the form of a creature,
Inferno frog.
and I'll give you control of that, Lan.
Okay. Which also means I need to find fire elemental.
Yeah. I'm not keeping track of that.
Will do.
The Lost seems to take damage as well, as it's just engulfed by this fire, but it seems as though the darkness emanating from the portal is causing a lot of these creatures to have just resistance to a lot of damage. However, 48, that brings it to bloodied. Perfect. As we move into Dion the Hunter's turn. Dion, you step out. This entire area is sort of covered. There's a pile of rock and trees that have just been mashed out of the way by probably the clearing of them, of these creatures clearing it away. It's your turn. What are you doing, Dion? Remember, you're behind full cover behind this rock wall. This is the only entrance over here. This 5-foot wide tunnel. Unless you're flying.
I would have got off.
Perfect. You move over to there.
Yeah.
I assume you're attacking something or other?
I'm going to Hunter's Mark Lost.
Perfect. And then as your action...
I will attack him.
Cool, roll me 2 attacks. This fight could be over fairly quickly. And that's quite a shame. Never discount, DMs that are watching, never discount a high-level fireball.
Yeah.
Especially ones that don't cost spell slots.
Yeah. Woo. 26 hits. And the second attack. A 20 does hit the Lost, yes.
Okay.
Okay, it takes all that damage.
I'll re-roll the 8.
Yeah, sure, go for it. Get more dice rolling.
13.
42. That's actually enough to kill it.
Oh.
Yeah, you watch as clearly fire damaged in the first place. You just fire 2 warning shots one into its chest and one into its head, and it slumps to the ground and quickly melts away into this necrotic sludge that is absorbed by the earth. The now scorched earth. Anything else, Dion? Cool. Glatt, it's your turn.
Okay, so I'm gonna bonus action Shield of Faith on myself.
Alright.
And then he's gonna run out and just wail 2 punches on the first thing that comes to him.
Yep. 2 attacks.
Yep. Oops. 25 and 24.
Those both hit, and that's those 2 gone. Pretty much you just need to hit to destroy these small fry ones.
And that's undone.
Perfect. on initiative count 20, you watch horrified as yet 2 more of these lost creatures step out from the portal. But that is 20. It's the Guilty's turns. There's only 2 of them. And they are... within 60 feet. Perfect. So Dion and Glack both make wisdom saves, please. Succeeds.
That's a 15 for me.
A 15.
Yeah.
But
You
it's
rolled a
come up
natural
here
20.
as a
Oh,
nat
so I
20.
was looking at the wrong... Sorry.
Christ.
Wasn't that far down.
Jesus. 25 and a 23 both succeed, and then on their turns, they burrow into the earth.
They really are chickens.
Screeching. It's the Wretched's turn now, and yeah, their leader has just been destroyed, but 2 more have stepped forward. The nearest one, I'll say, just sort of glances around as if half expecting, like, what do we do? But the rest of them, just all pile forward. And they have 40 foot of movement, so yeah, they can all get to you. And essentially duck in and duck out as they just make chomps upon you all. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Fuck's sake. Yep. There you go. Yeah, they're... What can I say? The 2 of you ran in. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. That one can't actually make it. Poor wee guy. He's slightly out of the fight.
Good.
But there are a lot of them, so I'm just going to roll a bunch of attacks here. Actually, no, I've got mob rules. So I'm just going to roll... needed to hit. So one of them auto hits. No, fuck it. I'll just do that. They all have advantage because they have superior pack tactics. Holy shit. So on Glack, a nat 20, a nat 20, a nat 20.
Oh, come on!
a 16, a nat 20, and a 15.
4 nat 20s.
I'm looking at them now. It's ridiculous. It's rolling 2 GM for some reason. I should have clicked on it. Yeah, a 10 and a 20. So a nat 20, nat 20, nat 20, 16, nat 20, and a 15 on you.
Neil, I think he bought the special dice.
Yeah.
Well, the nat 20s hit, so yeah.
Sorry about that. I'll roll the damage outright. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 13 plus 7 is 20. 20, 32. 42 points of piercing damage. And 4 of them latch onto you.
42. Yep.
The 5th one not making it. And Dion, it's a dirty 20 to hit you. I'll roll the rest of them out, right? Dirty 20, a dirty 20, a 12, 14, and a 19.
2 hit.
2
The
hits.
dirty 20s hit.
Perfect. And you take 14 points of damage.
14.
14 total. Oh, no, sorry, 13. My bad.
13.
That's them. It's the Lost. And a couple of them come forward, and you hear screeching in all of your minds. Yeah, no, they would need to dash forward. So they're going to dash forward, one into the trees there, and one is going to dash this way. Sensing that there are people who can cast fireballs.
Ignoring the big flaming frog.
Yes. As Pizzazz, it's your turn. You glance out from behind cover and see your party being swarmed by these creatures.
Fireball.
I mean, I could.
I'm good with it. Fireball.
You hear
Dion?
Glack as two of them, 4 of them are embedded in Glack's chest. He's calling fireball.
The fire.
The
fire elemental is actually immune to fire, so he would have just.
Yeah, it was a natural reaction to cry out that.
I mean, I can center it so it wouldn't. So just get. Yeah. So center it so it'd hit
Everything except for this guy.
and Dion. Right. If I.
Oh, Dion's swarmed.
Dion's.
Oh right, Dion swarmed as well.
Dion's in amongst all these wretched.
Yeah, I made some new friends.
I
So
wish for my new friends to be burnt.
if I centered it here, then
Why can why can I control Glack?
I
Everyone can control
that.
everyone.
Yeah. I can't control Dion and
Yeah.
thingy Lan. I can't control those two.
I
I've
can.
never tried.
Yeah. So if I center the fireball here, that'll hit this group and this last.
Mm-hmm. If that's what you want to do.
It might hurt a bit.
I'm fine if you're hitting it.
It should be fine. Let's do
Oh
it.
yeah.
What level are you casting it at?
So it's going to be 7th level because it's from the Staff of Magi.
Oh shit. Okay. Oh.
Oh god.
Well, they're all going to fail anyway, so all of them are going to burn. There's like 2 layers. There's two lots of to stop the match instantly being ended by a fireball. There's like two swarms essentially. So the top layer is going to be just completely incinerated. Those are the 10 that attacked Glack and Dion last turn.
You two need to make the saves as well.
Yeah, you need to make 2 dex saves. No, just the 1 dex save.
Yeah.
A dex save apiece.
Yeah,
The most dexterous people in the
That's a
match.
29.
you both make it. Glad, don't you have
Evasion,
evasion
baby.
as well? Yep. So Glad doesn't take anything.
Perfect. So there are very few of them left now.
Dion, you would take 22 fire unless you've got any resistances or evasion.
No, it's that fire. Don't have evasion. So, what did you say, 22?
Yeah.
Well, that worked out
8.
pretty well.
The lost would have got a hit as well.
And 10. The Lost might make it, actually. No. But it takes 44 as well. Perfect. So that one screams in pain. So 10 of them are gone, the wretched. Or rather, 10 lots of 2 of them. So 20 of them are gone, and 20 remain.
Mhm.
No, 10. Yeah, 10 are gone, 10 remain. Perfect. As Lanwor, it's your turn.
Okay. The elemental is going to move to that lost over here.
Perfect.
And make 2 touch attacks.
Gonna touch it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect.
With the frog, would it be with the tongue? Or would it be like the Naruto, like, sumo frog thing?
Yeah, Gamabuchi.
Yeah.
Okay,
19 hits.
and here's another 17.
Do you know when to buy dinner first?
I had a 17 hits.
So
Bad touch, bad touch.
22 damage. And it's ignited twice.
Yep.
Okay. And Lanwor, your turn.
What can I do?
Dion, you're on deck, so think about what you're going to do. There's still 10 of them surrounding you and Glack. And this little guy over here.
If he doesn't wander off because being so lonely.
Mm. No, the lonely are a different kind of creature.
I will poison spray the closest one that's within 10 feet of me.
Cool. Roll damage. Jesus. It's got -1, so it actually can't make it. So, yeah, it dies.
And as a bonus action, we'll use 2 of the Bama's Summer Court on Dion to give him some health. I'll roll that once.
Yeah, perfect. While you're rolling that, it's Dion's turn.
I'm gonna attack whoever's closest to me with my sword.
Perfect. Roll your 2 attacks. That hits one, and the other, hits. 15 damage, which it's resistant to in the dim light. 10 damage, half to 5. Yeah, that's enough to kill one of them. Perfect. That's your turn. As Glack, it's back to you.
Just gonna jump in
That my
between them.
health.
Starfish punch.
Yeah, go for it.
I'd only get pack tactics on one of them, wouldn't I? Because only Dion's there for one of them.
Yeah, so you'd get it on that one.
Okay, so that would be the first to make it easier. So 12.
Yep, and it's radiant. It dies.
So another 3 punches. 1, 2, and 3. And on that 10, I'm going to pop in an extra 3, so it goes to 13.
Perfect. Those 3 all pop and all die. And you're fairly handily monks, man, against small little enemies. If you were a drunken master, you'd get 5 punches at this level.
Then I'm going to point at the lost and say, "Oi, come closer. I'm going to punch you in the face."
It makes a hideous sort of...
Is that not just because he got burnt?
The guilty do something. The wretched attack. And, you know what? They've just seen Glack be the biggest threat, so all 4 of them are going to attack. Attack Glack. Like Kill Bill, but better.
Isn't there 5? Because doesn't this guy still have his other person?
No, these ones are single ones.
Oh, I thought this one was too far away to get caught by it.
Yeah, one of them would still be 2.
That's true. So 17, 22 to hit you, Glack?
Nope.
For crying out loud.
How
Fine.
much health did I get, Lan?
I'm guessing using 2 charges doesn't make it 2 separate sort of healing things, so it'd be 12.
8,
Cheers.
8 points to you of damage.
Only a
Glack.
natural 20 hits me.
Mm-hmm. But luckily for you, they're all going for you.
Yeah.
All 6. As it would be the Lost now. I think at the start of its turn, it takes fire damage, right?
Yeah. Creature takes 5. Wait. Where's the base on the turn? Or is it from the night? Yeah, it takes 1. Well, 2d10 if it's ignited twice.
Perfect. Roll the 2 die 10. 1 and 8. Okay, that's not enough to destroy it. But mindlessly, it charges forward, apparently being almost controlled, as it piles into Dion. And Dion, it's going to attack you twice with its 2 arm spikes. And attempt to embrace you. So, makes 2 attacks, and it's got allies within 5 feet. Fucking Christ. A 20 to hit you, Dion?
20 hits.
Oh, thank goodness. Just so you know how dangerous they are. It embraces you for 4 die 10. So, plus 3, I think? Yeah, plus 3. So, you take 21 points of piercing damage, and you are grappled. You are also frightened of this creature, as it drags you in and holds you close, and you see this face look so terrified and lost, and also on fire, and it's screaming.
That's why I'm so
face.
terrified.
Yeah, and it's screaming. It's screaming in your face.
I should have really walked out on top of it, and then that would have added another 5 fire damage.
The other lost is gonna attack Pizzazz, having run up to you.
Okay.
Attempting to embrace you as well, but misses.
Going for a hug! Whoa!
Didn't expect Pizzazz to be in there and just went too high.
Pizzazz, it is your turn. How do you want to end this fight, pretty much?
I am going to cast a 3rd level Scorching Ray. So it'll be 2 bolts at each lost.
Perfect.
And I'm still poisoned, so it's disadvantage on each.
Yeah, go for it.
So first one is a 30 to hit at disadvantage.
Yeah. Yeah.
With 6 fire. Second one is a 30 again. For 8 fire, how's it looking?
It's looking pretty bad right now, actually.
Third bolt.
Yeah, you just blast this thing multiple times in the chest and blast it backwards away from you. It's gone. These things are like glass cannons, all of them. Lanwor, the rest of them you're easily able.
It's the fourth bolt. It's going to go into the thing because I was casting at full 3rd level.
Ah, perfect. The other lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has 3 hit points left. You take that one out as well. Lanwor, you quickly.
It might not. It might do. Oh, okay.
Either way, at the start of its next turn, it takes a bunch of fire damage. But Lanwor, because I keep getting nuisance calls, you quickly end this fight, and the area itself is now clear. The necrotic sort of shrouded energy continues apace, spilling out of this hole in the wall. It's a very foreboding place.
Yeah.
30 Arcana check on it.
It is definitely a portal. It is definitely a planar portal.
It was more to see how to
how it's being held
Right.
together.
Yeah.
Oh,
See if it can be dispelled.
okay.
Something like that.
Yeah, you reckon... Actually, with the 30, that meets the DC. These things, these black tentacles coming through it,
Mhm.
you reckon the creature or item or thing, whatever it is, that's on the other side of this portal that is conjuring these, destroy that, and the portal should close.
Mm.
Expel
So-
through the portal. So
That's what I was thinking. Should I do a fireball through the hole?
Just have the fire elemental walk in with a delayed fire
Yeah.
blast.
yeah.
Just have the fire in and walk in and just slap things around a bit.
Yeah, you send the fire elemental through.
Are we actually doing that, or are we just...
It's up to you if you want to do that.
I think we should save the rest of the planning for what we're doing here for the next session.
Because it is like 25 past 9 now.
Yeah. Does anyone step through? That's the important thing.
No, not
I
until
would say
we've
no,
spoken about
not
it.
until we
no.
plan it a bit better.
Perfect. So on the very shores of Oblivion, right upon the gateway into another realm entirely, Lanwor, you feel yourself overcome with this sort of psychic disturbance. And you see ahead of you a sort of ghostly green figure. A group of them, actually. It's almost like you're seeing echoes, and you don't know if it's the stress you've been feeling or if it's the proximity to a portal of this magnitude, of this sort of evil, or the fact that it's in your forest, in your home, and you're so linked to the woods themselves. You see a group of 5 people. A Fairbog, a gnome, a half-orc, and 2 kobolds, one green and one red, standing around the portal and
Doppelgangers, kill them!
and taking a deep breath. Lanwor alone sees this. Ghostly figures standing around the portal, examining it.
What the...
It's all of you. It's the 4 of you and Junkrat. And as you watch the group of 5 ghosts, the echoes, step forward into the portal.
I quickly look to my side and only see the fire elemental. What? It's not a mirror.
No. And as you contemplate that mystery and feel just a psychic presence echo in your mind, that's where we're going to pick up next time. Thank you all for playing. Thank you all at home for watching or listening on whatever device you're using. And from all of us here, until next time, be careful which portals you enter, but the ones that you do, be sure to take a friend with you. Cheerio.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.